Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of This Week in the World of Football. This is episode number 347 for June 4th, 2024. I'm your host, Randy Snow. On this week's show, the United Football League's regular season has come to an end. The Indoor Football League's Duke City Gladiators got their first win of the season, and two NFL stars got paid. But I'm not here all by myself. Across the table from me, as always, is my son Adam.
Yes, I am here, and you got back from your Nashville trip. We got a video. We'll talk about it in a minute. Your
Yep.
video of you going to Nashville to see arena football this week. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, big.
I'm not
weekend of
jealous or
traveling.
bitter at all.
Yeah, sure you're not.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it was a whirlwind weekend. Left on Friday, came back Sunday, made it back from Bowling Green, Kentucky in record time.
Yeah.
we only stopped for gas, and that was about it. So yeah, it was a hectic weekend, but a fun weekend, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. All right, we come to you each week from the fabulous World of Football Man Cave, located right here in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're here to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. Our goal is to educate, inform, and entertain our listeners with the glorious buffet that is the world of football. All this while keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. Thanks for checking out our podcast. We'd love to get your feedback on one of our many platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So you can simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football podcast. We also have timestamps down in the descriptions of both the podcast and many of our YouTube videos, so you can go right to the topics you really want to listen to. You can also find our podcast in its full audio form on our YouTube channel. Just search for The World of Football Kalamazoo or use the handle @The World of Football in the YouTube search bar. You'll find many other selected videos on our YouTube channel, like Arena Football Weekly with Adam. Week 5 is what you've got posted right now. And
Arena Football League Weekly.
Arena Football League.
You got to say the
Weekly.
whole thing, but yes, we did week 5 last week. Week 6 will be coming later this week, tomorrow probably.
Okay.
But that's not the only arena football content we got on the channel this week. As we mentioned up top, Randy went to an arena football game. We have that up on the channel.
Video, 5-minute video on that.
Yep. Yeah. For the most part, I was very into it. I'm a little bummed I wasn't there.
Yeah, you weren't there. They switched the game to a different day, and you couldn't make it. You had a conflict. We were all set to go.
Yeah.
So I went without you, but I thought about you while I was there.
I'm sure you did. Yeah, I got a souvenir, and I'll talk about that on my show this week. The
Yeah,
souvenir you got.
You kept texting me during the game. Are you getting video of this? Are you getting video of that? Did you do this? Yes, son. Yes, son. I'm doing that.
Well, for those of you who have seen the video, is there anything that you left out that you wish you would have gotten in the video? I know it's hard to tighten up something like that, but there's so much else that happens. I mean, it's a 5-minute video. It's hard to encompass a whole trip into 5 minutes.
The whole with the parking ramp. I don't think I told you this, but the parking ramp was weird. When you go to an event like this, I drove right past the arena, and I'm looking for, parking. I knew that there were tons of, parking lots, parking ramps. So I was looking for somebody that had a sign that said, park here for the game, event parking, whatever, $10.
Right.
I didn't see any of that. And I drove around a little bit, and I finally settled on this parking ramp. So I go in, and instead of giving me a ticket or something, it just says scan this QR code. So and that was after you parked. I mean, you just go in and park, and then when you park, you scan this QR code. They're all over the place. You do that. I had to not really create an account, but they asked for my email address, my cell phone number, and I had to put in a credit card. And then they said, okay, you're fine. So when you leave the parking ramp, you just scan a QR code on the way out, and that'll determine what you pay, and we'll send you a bill. We've already got your credit card, so
they didn't need a license plate or anything.
They did. They asked for, yes, that was the other thing, the license plate. So, and I saw something in the notes when I created this account or set this thing up that it said it was like $3.05, $3.50 for the first minute, and then up to $40 a day for something like that. So I thought, well, I could be looking at $40 to pay to go to this game. And that's exactly what happened. They charged me $40 when I left, plus a service fee, plus another fee. So it was over $40 to park for a game for 3 hours. And I was a little upset about that, but I didn't. Never having been to Nashville before, I didn't know where to go, so
I
I
mean, we've
just
been
took
through
the first thing.
Nashville, but we never like
Yes,
went down to even a Titans
right,
game or anything
right.
like that.
And the parking ramp that I got was like a block from Printer's Alley, which is a very famous alley. It's an actual alley where
Okay.
there are a lot of bars and places where musicians come and play in Nashville.
Okay.
And Paul McCartney mentioned it in one of his songs. Sally G. He talked about the night
Okay.
life took me down to Printer's Alley, where Sally worked behind a bar or something like that.
See, you guys kept sending me those pictures of that alley. I was like, I have no idea what this is. I've
Yeah,
never.
and it looked gorgeous because it was getting
I mean, it was
dark.
cool
The
looking,
lights
but
were just coming on. It was almost like Vegas, down there. All these little bars and restaurants and places where people were going to be performing, and you can see that Batman building in the distance.
yeah.
So the pictures were really cool. But that was just another thing. Um, Post game, I was a little disappointed with the post game.
Oh,
You know how at Grand Rapids, they were required to stay and sign autographs. Well, they let us down on the field after a little bit, but they didn't bring out any tables. The players were just kind of walking around, and nothing was really organized. In Grand Rapids, they had a tone that went off, when it was over with. So then the guys knew, okay, we're done signing autographs, we'll go now. So people were kind of coming and going, and
oh,
it wasn't as structured as it was back in the Grand Rapids days.
yeah,
And I know this is 3.0 of the Arena Football League. Things are different, but I just a little disappointed with that. But I loved going down on the field. That made my day
yeah.
to be walking around on the field after the game. I met Anthony Carter from Arena Insider. That was cool meeting him, and he was interviewing a player when I walked up to him, so I waited for him to be done, and it was a great experience. Overall, it was great to be at an Arena Football League game again.
Yeah.
I just really had a good time. So we might talk a little bit more about it when we get
Oh
to
yeah,
the
I'm sure
AFL
we
stuff.
will.
So yeah, so those are the two videos we've got up right now: your Arena Football League Weekly, Week 5, and me going to the AFL game. So let's begin our tour around the world of football, and we're going to start this week with the UFL.
That's right. It was the final weekend of UFL Season 1, Week 10. We can't believe it's been 10 weeks
Mhm.
already. Man, 10 weeks
Went
ago
fast.
that we went to that first game of the
Yeah,
season.
we were there for Week 1.
And here we are, Week 10, playoffs next week.
Yep.
All right, on Saturday, there were two games. The first game, what a great game this ended up being. The Birmingham Stallions came back and got the victory over the Michigan Panthers 20-19. I watched this game. The Panthers had control of this game for most of it. The Stallions, I don't know what was with them for a while. It's like they scored to open the half, and then they just couldn't get anything going till the end of the second half. They kind of clawed back and got the win over the Panthers. The Panthers really just couldn't milk the clock like they should have. And then they had the opportunity, though, to win the game. Jake Bates had a very makeable field goal, but it was just to the right, I believe. And it was a little disappointing, but it's okay because those two teams will face off against each other again next week. So it's not a gimme for the Stallions. The Panthers have to bring their A game, but we shall see.
Yeah, even if they'd won, the game is still going to be in Birmingham, so nothing changed.
Yeah.
So they've got a chance to redeem themselves.
Yep, we shall see if they can do that. And then on Saturday, the St. Louis Battlehawks defeated the San Antonio Brahmas 13-12. This is also a game that is going to be a rematch next week, as this will be the XFL Conference Championship matchup in St. Louis.
Yep.
So that'll be fun. I did not catch much of this game. It was a very busy weekend. You clearly were out of town, so you didn't watch any of this game
I didn't
either.
watch hardly anything.
Yeah. Sunday, though, the Arlington Renegades defeated the DC Defenders 32-31. Luis Perez looking great as always. And then Sunday, so we mentioned last week, we were wondering if the UFL would do what the USFL did, which would be to make this game, because the Showboats and the Roughnecks were both 1-8 going into the game.
Yep.
And they still do a player draft. So they were saying instead of the loser having the worst record and getting the first pick, they made it so that the winner would get the first pick.
I like that.
I do too. I'm glad they came out and did that this week. And the fact that they did it right after we talked about it on the podcast made me wonder how much influence we have.
They were listening.
Daryl Johnston listens to this show. But the Memphis Showboats defeated the Houston Roughnecks 19-12. Memphis snaps an 8-game losing streak. They beat Houston back in week 1, and they are going to get that very first pick in every round of the 2025 UFL draft next season. How about that? Yes, good for them.
Yep.
Players on teams that are not in the playoffs can now speak to NFL teams about roster spots. You threw that note in there.
Yep.
That's very interesting. And I saw that they're also opening up a couple of, not camps, but they're like training not
Like a workout?
workout spots this summer for the UFL,
Okay.
which is pretty interesting. I saw
Okay.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson involved with that. So,
Yeah.
and here are your final standings of the 2024 UFL inaugural season. In the XFL conference, your two playoff teams, the St. Louis Battlehawks and the San Antonio Brahmas, are both 7-3. And then the DC Defenders at 4-6, and then the Arlington Renegades at 3-7. In your USFL conference, you have the 9-1 Birmingham Stallions and the 7-3 Michigan Panthers, the 2-8 Memphis Showboats, and the 1-9 Houston Roughnecks. And as we mentioned, that sets up our semifinals for this weekend, which will see the USFL Conference Championship game played in Birmingham, as the Panthers will travel to Birmingham to play the Stallions on Saturday. On Sunday will be the XFL Championship game, which will have the San Antonio Brahmas travel to St. Louis to battle the Battlehawks. And I saw the post-game press conference, at least for the head coach of the Battlehawks, and him saying, if everybody brought a friend, this place is going to get packed. And I have a feeling that St. Louis is going to be rocking this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, they've always drawn well. They've
have.
drawn better than anybody else in the league, whether it's XFL, UFL, whatever. The fans there do show up, and it's playoff time, and it's a chance, one game to get to the championship game, which is going to be right there in St. Louis.
Yep,
also,
that's right, June 16th in St.
Yep.
Louis. So if St. Louis can win that game
Yeah.
and host the championship,
Yep.
you tell me that place might not get close to being sold
Sellout,
out?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big stadium to sell out.
Yep.
But
that would look good on TV.
If their
for the
record was
league.
40,000, I'm guessing at least, maybe not a sellout, but at least 60,000.
Could be.
It could be a big draw.
Yep.
So that'll be very exciting to check out there. All right, guys, we're going from the outdoor game into the indoor or arena game, if you will, and Randy's going to take that over.
Yeah, I was there this week, and I want to talk about some of the other games. This was week 6 in the AFL. On Saturday, the Albany Firebirds improved to 6-0 with a win over the Nashville Cats, 32-24. Now, in the video,
this is what I need to answer.
there's a bit of a
about.
controversy. The scoreboard guy put up 25 points, so we didn't know, was it a 2-point conversion or a 3-point conversion at the end. Eli Gold on the broadcast said it was a 2-point conversion, and the league says it was a 2-point conversion, so the league is saying it was 24. But everybody in the stadium thought it was 25 because that's what went up on the scoreboard.
And that's what the Nashville Cats have on their Twitter page
right
now.
Right.
Which, after I bugged them, I posted the final score, and they did change it because they deleted the original 24-32 score, and now they currently have the 25-32 score up. So I don't know what to believe.
Yeah,
I thought from the 5-yard line was 3 points.
Well,
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I am confused. I am beside myself. I have not seen any clarification anywhere other than the official website does say 32-24. But in your video, you did say 25 as well.
I did say 25.
And you never clarified.
Yeah. But they supposedly, according to Arena Fan, they said the attendance at the game was 3,963. I question that. If you saw the video, it was pretty empty. My guess at the time was maybe 1,500, 2,000 at the most, in that arena. I don't know. I could be a bad judge of numbers, but it was very, very.
It did
empty.
look like it was very sparse. And then I watched the game, so the Arena League this weekend did the Arena Football League. Sorry, because we're going to talk about the Arena League a little later.
That's going to get confusing.
Oh, it's going to get confusing. So the Arena Football League did something. They've started this transition now where all 3 of their games this weekend were streamed on their YouTube channel. Big plus, at least having them on there. The big drawback. And I was texting you this.
Right.
What a terrible broadcast it was. Even the president of the Firebirds ended up in that chat on YouTube. I caught him in there. Oh, yeah, because he was getting mad that Eli Gold was dissing the Firebirds, which was funny. But I don't know. Like, it was just the camera work was bad. Like, at the beginning of the game, it took forever for that camera person to start following the ball around. They were cutting. It was just, I don't know if that arena is just not able to cover the game.
It seemed like a very small arena. I think Grand Rapids is twice the size of what this arena was. The Van Andel Arena.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is where they played years ago.
No, I would not think that.
But I mean, it was very intimate. I mean, if they there wouldn't be a bad seat in the house. You could sit up in the top of the third deck and you would have an awesome time watching this game. So I mean, the crowd's right there at the stadium or by the field.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of cool. But yeah, it just
I don't know, just they were feeding in the Cats broadcast. So I got to hear Eli Gold, which was awesome. But the bad part was it sounded like he was like talking through a tin can. But then it was weird because like his broadcast partner sounded crystal clear. So I didn't make it didn't make made no sense. But people like in the YouTube chat were saying, "Oh, if you go to their radio broadcast website and stream it, it doesn't sound that bad." Well, it's because that's a radio broadcast. It's different. Like if you're gonna put it on this, it should sound a lot clear. So people were getting on him for that. I was even like, "This is terrible." And I think somebody in the chat pointed out how this facility just isn't really made for doing a lot of that stuff. But I mean, the camera work was bad too.
Yeah.
I mean, that cameraman not being able to follow a ball around was just it was hard to watch. The audio quality even sounded like somebody finally went into the booth because I jokingly texted you to say, "Hey, go tell somebody that the audio and video suck right now." It wasn't unwatchable, but it was really tough because even my girlfriend who was watching with me was just like, gee, like, when she says it was bad, I knew it was bad. Like we had to turn the volume down to a point where it was just like I could barely even hear it, and I was just watching the screen.
Well, I walked around the stadium. I like to walk around the whole stadium whenever I'm there at a game to soak it all in, see what's there, and
and find out where the cheerleaders are. Yep.
yeah. Well, I found those right when I came in the door. But anyway, I walked past the area where the broadcasters sit. There was no actual press box.
Oh.
They were in like the top row of the lower level. So as I'm walking on the concourse, they're sitting right there.
And you didn't think to slip Eli Gold a business card, you buffoon?
I never even thought about it. That's probably where Eli Gold was going to sit. He could have been there. I could have walked right by him, but I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to get past there without, bumping into anybody because there was cameras and, people were standing around.
This is the crap that happens when I don't go with you. You just don't keep your head on a swivel. Just like you didn't go meet up with Andy Lapushnik there either. That was something else.
I would look for him after the game. I know he was going to be busy taking pictures, and he posted a bunch of great pictures.
He did. A lot of great
on Arena
pictures.
Fan. But I didn't. I was hoping to run into him on the field after the game, and I did not see him. So, but yeah, I think we're done with this game.
Well, I mean, can we talk a little bit? What were some of your favorite plays of the game? I mean, it opened up with.
Oh yeah, the opening.
Let's give people
kickoff.
that at least. They opened up with a great kickoff return for a touchdown to open the game, and I was like, "Well, shoot, Dad's in for a great game to begin." Then it was a snore fest for most of it.
Yeah.
But there were a couple great catches, like off the iron and like one that didn't count that was awesome.
Right, yeah.
And then there was one eventually that I had in your highlight video or your video where it bounced off the net and the guy caught it, and that was awesome.
Yeah, off of one guy's hands, off the net, and then to another player on the same team.
So a lot of crazy stuff. The fact that the kicker for the Firebirds can just kick a deuce at will, it seems like.
Twice. He did the first kick of the game, and I think it was the opening kickoff of the second half. He put it.
Yeah, the opening kickoff of the second half for sure. But yeah, I don't know if it was right off the bat he did, but it was unbelievable.
Oh no, it was after they scored a touchdown. Yeah, because they got a touchdown, a 4-point play or
no, they would because at one point it was 16 to
right a 2-point play, and then they got a deuce after that. So
yeah, something like that.
it was a lot of points by one team.
So much craziness, yeah.
But yeah, no, it was exciting to watch. The crowd was pretty much into it. I was sitting near a lot of fans that were extremely vocal, holding up their signs and yelling at the refs. The refs could do no good in their eyes.
So so that's what I wanted to ask you. During the broadcast, there was the 4-point play Nashville went for that they didn't get. On the broadcast, they had a close-up of the coach talking to the ref, and it looked like the ref was not going to give him the 4-point play option. And I read the coach's lips, and he said it's in the rule book. And I have no idea if you caught any of that in person.
Well, I did see him holding up 4 fingers to the ref, and he kept doing that several times. I want to go for 4. I want to go for 4. That much I did catch.
Because like watching it, I was like, oh man, are they not giving it to him? Like, are these refs on the same page as the coaches? I'm gonna have to find that clip and put that up on my show. But yeah.
Well, when I walked into the arena, they gave me this card that had a QR code on it, and they had the digital program, and they had all the Nashville players, but they didn't have the players and numbers for the other team for Albany. And they had a couple pages for the arena football rules. and they did not. The only 4-point play they mentioned on that, it was just those two things you've seen for years. It shows you
Yeah.
the field and a list of some of
The
the rules.
basic, yeah,
Right, and but they're old because they still talked about the only 4-point play they had listed on there
was the drop kick.
was the drop kick.
Mm.
So, they didn't have it broken down like 4 points from the 10 yards. Maybe from the 7.5 yard was a 3-point play, and 2 points from the 5. I don't know, but that last play of the game for Nashville was from the 5 yard line, and the 4-point play was from the 10 yard line. So
Okay.
have to do a little more digging on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but no, it was a great fun time. I'm glad I went, um, but it was a long drive. But yeah, I got to go right by a Buc-ee's that's going to be opening pretty soon, and that was exciting.
Okay.
I can't wait for that.
All right. The next game, I'll let you do it, but you do have the wrong score written down for this next game.
Do I?
Yep.
Okay. The Billings Outlaws improved to 5-0 over the West Texas Desert Hawks. I have 52 to
The
49.
final score was 56-49.
56 to 49.
Yes. I was gonna say, I was like, that score didn't look right, but
Okay.
because I caught the tail end of this game, and boy, it looked like a shootout. West Texas still they have a heck of a ball club. It just thinks they've lost a couple of
Yeah.
tough games like this, but I mean, give credit to the Outlaws. The Outlaws have just been absolutely awesome, and everybody now is just fiending for that matchup in a couple weeks
Right. Yeah.
between them and the unbeaten Firebirds.
Yeah.
So that should be exciting. But I mean, Billings, kudos to them, because it was close at halftime. I believe it was like 22-23 or something, and it seemed like when I started watching, it was just deep balls and just so many crazy big plays. So those are two fun teams to watch, and we still don't know the playoff format, but man, I hope we get to see those two teams anywhere in the playoffs.
Well, that would make a great Arena Bowl, I think, at this
Billings
point.
and West Texas.
Well, no, Billings and Albany.
Oh, I'm just saying, I want West Texas in the playoff, even
Oh.
though they've just dropped another game, but
Right.
they've hang
They're
in there
one of those
quite
teams
well.
that plays well, but they can't seem to finish a game and come out with the win sometimes.
Yeah, teams just pulling out those 4-point plays on them.
Yeah. And then the final game in the Arena Football League this week was Southwest Kansas Storm over the Salina Liberty, 34-31.
Yeah.
I saw no highlights of this game, or I just got the score. But only 3 games in the.
Yeah,
in the
but they
AFL.
streamed this game as well. I tried to catch it. I went to Aaron's on Sunday. So
brother.
yep, and we got done working on some stuff, and then I was like, oh yeah, there's an arena game. And as soon as I turned on to the game, it was then the final score. Like they were literally wrapping up the broadcast. But so the fact that the Arena League has put all 3 of their broadcasts on YouTube, good step in the right direction, I think.
Yep.
My only negative right now is while they seem to have finally have a clear schedule from here to the end of the season, there's been some casualties. I think the Predators having 2 straight bye weeks is not a good look. I'm not sure what the Wolfpack schedule looks like or the Regulators schedule, but they're on bye this week along with the Predators. But I don't know. I'm almost ready for the playoffs to start just so we can kind of put the season behind us.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you thought about that.
Yeah. I didn't really look too close at it. I did see that Orlando did have a bye for the next 2 weeks.
But that's so weird. But then like you have a Billings who's got their schedule all packed at the end of the year, and I'm sure the Firebirds too. So we're gonna end the season with the Predators having maybe 3 byes. They'll have played 7 games all season.
It depends on who's how many games you're all going to play this year. So maybe the Orlando team has not had a bye up until now, and
They did
got all their games in. I can't remember who's got what, but you want all your teams to end with the same number of games
Well,
played.
they're not gonna. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, on bye this week, Orlando, Washington Wolfpack, and the Wichita Regulators. I'm not going to talk about the teams that are folded, but there was a bit of news that came out of the Arena Football League this week. They announced that a gentleman by the name of Jared Widman is the league's new president and chief operating officer. Widman expressed his enthusiasm for his new role, saying, "This challenge is welcomed with open arms, and I intend to attack it head on. There is a tremendous amount of work to be done, and I'm honored with the faith and trust that league ownership and Commissioner Jeff Fisher have placed in me." I didn't see in his profile anything about a sports background. He's got a business background or whatever. Nothing in the world of sports, but it may work out. I
Oh
don't know.
God, is this just a secret identity of Lee Hutton getting his way back into the league?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But anyway, let's.
There's hold on. There's one other
Oh,
thing I wanted to
okay.
bring
All
up.
right.
Did you see I don't think it was an official post by the Black Bears, who are no longer an arena team, because also in that announcement for Widman, they did mention that it'll be a 9-team league going forward.
Right.
But somebody posted the Oregon Black Bears West Division champions at 3-0. Oh yeah, this made its way around for a couple minutes, and I just had to have a little chuckle about that. So I don't know if it was a player that posted it or just a Black Bears fan posted it, but I saw it in a couple spots and I just rolled my eyes.
Yeah, because they were like 2-0, and then they folded, and then they came back, won another game, and now they're folded again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
The
3-0
undefeated
and-
West champions,
Yeah.
even though there's no West Division anymore.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the standings for the 9 teams that are remaining in the AFL. The Albany Firebirds at 6-0, Billings Outlaws 5-0, Salina Liberty 3-2, West Texas Desert Hawks 3-3, Southwest Kansas Storm 3-3, the Orlando Predators 2-2, Nashville Cats 2-4, Wichita Regulators 1-3, and the Washington Wolfpack at 1-4. All right, let's move on to the Indoor Football League with Adam.
That's right, everybody. It's indoor football time, not to be confused with arena football. If you know the difference, kudos to you. All right, Friday night saw the Green Bay Blizzard defeat the Quad City Steamwheelers 64-36. On Saturday, you had 6 games altogether. Oh,
Yeah.
dang. The Arizona Rattlers defeated the Jacksonville Sharks 62-41. The Iowa Barnstormers squeaked by the Sioux Falls Storm 47-45. The Frisco Fighters got a close win over the Massachusetts Pirates 52-48. The San Diego Strike Force took out the Tulsa Oilers 42-34. The Northern Arizona Wranglers defeated the Vegas Nighthawks 58-52 in a one-score game.
Shootout.
And then the Piece de la Resistance, the team that no one thought could, did. The Duke City Gladiators got their first win over the Tucson Sugar Skulls in a barn burner, 21-20.
Good for Duke City.
Oh boy, I saw that final score and I didn't even realize that was Duke City's first win. I just said, yuck.
Yeah.
A 21-20 indoor game.
We got a win, and they finally got
Hey, a win's a
0
win,
up
and they'll take it.
Yeah.
So good for them. I know they've been struggling all year long, finally getting that big win.
Yep.
So good for them. Good for you, Duke City. I wish I'd had highlights ready to go to watch this, but I don't think they put up their highlights till the middle of the week. So they're really slow on that. But I digress. On bye this week, the Bay Area Panthers and the San Antonio Gunslingers. So we now look at your Indoor Football League standings. In the East, it's the Frisco Fighters and Green Bay Blizzard at 8-2. The Massachusetts Pirates at 6-4. The Quad City Steamwheelers at 4-5. The Tulsa Oilers and Iowa Barnstormers at 3-7. The Sioux Falls Storm at 2-7. And then the Jacksonville Sharks at 1-8. In the West, it's the Bay Area Panthers with an 8-1 record, followed by the 7-2 Vegas Nighthawks, the 7-3 Northern Arizona Wranglers, the San Diego Strikeforce, and the Arizona Rattlers both sit at 6-4. The San Antonio Gunslingers are 4-5. The Tucson Sugar Skulls are 2-7, and your Duke City Gladiators that we just got done talking about are 1-8.
Mighty Duke City Gladiators.
The mighty Duke City Gladiators, winners of one game in the 2024 campaign.
Yep, happy for them.
All right, and now we're going to throw it over and talk about the American Indoor Football League, or American Indoor Football.
Yeah, week 11, they had one game scheduled, Corpus Christi Tritons and the Amarillo Venom. I've looked all over the place. They do not have a score for this game. I don't know if the game was canceled. I've never seen that the game was canceled. I Googled it to try and see if I could find a local TV news reporter from either city that talked about the game.
An article, something.
Could not find a darn thing, so I don't know. But that was the only game that was scheduled, and I don't have a score. I don't know if it was played. So we're not going to give the standings. Everything's the same as last week. They have like one game this weekend and one game the week after this, and then the regular season's over with. So things are winding down.
See, this
AIF.
AIF is one league that, I mean, we crapped on the Arena League for some of their issues.
Mm-hmm.
The AIF is just something else entirely, and I almost would be willing to just not talk about them anymore. But
Well, it'd be one thing if they would just come out and say this game was canceled, but I don't know if it was canceled.
it's tough. Like we've been talking about putting together our criteria for what makes a league worth talking about, And some of the stuff this league doesn't scratch off. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
A good website, it scores right away,
Yep.
at least by the next day, scores and
That's the bare
videos are on.
minimum.
Yeah.
And
But this game was on, let's see, what day was this? This game was on Sunday. So here it is Tuesday. They don't have anything on their website about the game.
yeah.
Played or not, no score. So, yep, well, we're done with that for now. All right, National Arena League.
Yes, that's right. It is week 12 of the National Arena League season. They had 2 games this week. On Saturday, the Sioux City Bandits defeated the Carolina Cobras 62-35. And then also Saturday, the undefeated Omaha Beef continued their winning ways by getting a 54-34 victory over the Colorado Spartans. On bye this week, the Idaho Horsemen. So your National Arena League standings are as follows: the Omaha Beef at 7-0, the Carolina Cobras fall to 5-3, along with the Sioux City Bandits now at 5-3. The Colorado Spartans are now 3-5, and the Idaho Horsemen are 1-6. And now, to keep things as confusing as ever, we're going to throw it over to Randy to talk about the Arena League, not to be confused with the Arena Football League.
Yeah, the Arena Football League goes by AFL. This league goes by AL, the Arena League.
The L.
But they have nothing to do with the Arena Football League. So it's a brand new league. This is week 1. They have 4 teams with some pretty cool names, I think. But they had 2 games on Saturday, and it was the Ozarks Lunkers over the Iowa Woo, 69-40. Now, the Iowa team, they used to be called the Waterloo Woo. And I thought that was a much better name. Both the alliteration, both
Yeah.
Waterloo and Woo starting with a W, but they've changed it now to the Iowa Woo. I don't know, maybe it does roll off the tongue a little better, but I just loved the Waterloo Woo. And supposedly the attendance for that game, which I'm surprised they put that out there already, 3,416 at that game.
I mean, it makes sense. New league, don't you want to say, well, we had this many people show
Yeah.
up. We at least put out our attendance for our games.
Right, but there's no highlights, no. I couldn't even find the scores on their website. I found them on social media, but not on the the actual.
Yeah, they don't have
website
highlights,
itself.
but they do have on there. We checked before the show on their YouTube channel. If you go to the Arena League's YouTube channel, look for that AL logo. They do have the full streams of both of those games.
Okay.
So they're 2-hour streams. They live stream them through their YouTube channel, it looks like. So interesting start. I haven't watched any of them yet, but the rule sets are interesting. We haven't really tackled that, but it's like 6-man football,
Right.
no kicking. I'm pretty sure they have no nets whatsoever.
No.
So they have no real reason to be called arena anything.
Right.
So I don't know. I was curious about this league, but I'm very dubious.
And isn't Tim Brown the former
Tim Brown, the
NFL
former Oakland
player?
Raider, is like the commissioner, or he's
Yeah.
kind of the top of the league here.
Right. He's
then-
the face of the league.
But there's a couple of videos out there I've seen from other indoor football YouTubers that talked about how a lot of his businesses he's been doing is almost as shady as what was happening with the Arena League. So we'll
I
see.
don't know anything about
We'll see how long this league stays on the up and up.
Yeah, it just seems a little weird because arena football is eight players. There was a league, the Continental Indoor Football League years ago, which had a team here in Kalamazoo. They played with 7 players,
That was
and now
interesting.
you've got the Arena League with 6 players
And no kickers.
and no kickers. It's a little weird. Anyway, the other game was the Kansas City Goats defeating the Duluth Harbor Monsters by the score of 77-52, and their attendance was 2,136 at that
Interesting.
game. So, yep. So we'll be following them the next few weeks. I'm not sure how long their season is.
I think it's
Is
an
it 10
8.
Is it 10 games?
I want
or-
to say it's 8 weeks, maybe 10.
Okay.
But for 4 teams, so I
Right.
want to say it's 8.
They've already got one team scheduled to expand to next year, and I think they've talked about a second one. So they might be expanding by 2 teams next year.
We'll see.
But that's before they even played their first game.
If I remember right, I remember when they released their schedule, it looked like next week there'll be 2 teams on bye, and they'll only have 1 game next weekend already. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll follow it and see what happens.
We just report the news. We don't make it up. All right. Let's see. Let's move to, we're going to throw it over to Adam for the Women's Football Alliance scores.
Yeah, that's right. We're going back outdoors, and we're going to talk about the ladies. And boy, they have put up some good stuff out there. I did actually come across a full stream of one of their women's football games. I wish I would have written down which one it was. It was like offered to me right off the bat on my YouTube. And I was like, oh, cool. This game's been live streamed. So I don't know how many of them actually get live streamed, but still pretty cool nonetheless. But we got some very interesting scores to talk about this week. The team that has kind of ruled the Women's Football Alliance the last many years, the Boston Renegades defeated the New York Wolves 90-7.
I think Boston has won like the last
I think they're five straight.
5 straight championships.
Yep, they've got a juggernaut
which
team
is
out
played
there.
in Canton, Ohio. It's been played, and I think a year or so ago, Mr. Kraft, the owner of the Patriots,
He lent them their plane. That was the
lent
story
them
we
his
talked
plane
about.
to get to Canton, the team and their equipment and all that, and all the players.
Yep.
So, yeah, good for him for doing
We
that.
got 90-7 this final score.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
What a powerhouse the Renegades are. All right, then you had the Mile High Blaze, love that name, who defeated the Nevada Storm 33-26. And then the Austin Outlaws defeated the Zydeco Spice 13-12.
It's pronounced Zydeco.
Zydeco?
Zydeco.
I think Zydeco sounds way cooler.
No, Zydeco.
I was almost going to ask, what Spice Girl is this based off
No,
of?
Zydeco is a type of music in New Orleans. It's kind of like a local jazz kind of music. Zydeco music
Zydeco.
is big down in New Orleans.
I like that. That rolls
Zydeco
off the
Spice.
tongue.
Yep.
Man, I almost kind of want to see what their logo looks like and get a
Yeah,
T-shirt.
I do too. But I love that name.
That's a great name.
So we're just featuring 3 random scores with the Women's Football Alliance right now. There are so many teams all over the country, 60-some teams, 20-some games every week.
Right.
But we're highlighting 3 of the teams, which we do normally during the college football season when we go through Division II, Division
There's just
3.
so many teams.
So many teams. We'll just pick out 3 scores from each. So that's kind of what we're doing right here.
But I know we had a question the other day on one of our videos. Somebody asked if we covered the Women's Football Alliance, and
Yep.
we try. It's not as extensive as we would probably like, but I mean, there's
Right.
just so much.
Right.
It's hard to get a handle on everything happening in that league. There's 3 tiers, but if it's something you're interested in, I mean, let us know what we're missing out on this Women's Football Alliance. I mean, we're open ears. We love hearing about fandom. And, and all these other leagues.
Yeah, let us know how your team is doing and what we should know and what everybody should know about your team.
Yeah, all about that. All right, so we're going across the pond now to the European League of Football. Take it away.
Yeah, week 2, 17 teams in this league. A couple games actually 4 games on Saturday. Looks like 4 games on Sunday. In the first game, it was the Stuttgart Surge over the Wrocław Panthers from Poland. 44-32.
Did you get the pronunciation right? Because we were corrected about the pronunciation for Wrocław. I believe it's Wrocław. Wrocław?
Really?
That's how phonetically it was spelled. It was like Wrocław. And I was listening to the highlights, and it is very like Wrocław. I believe. It's
okay.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna have to
interesting.
write that phonetically.
If we still butchered that this week, we apologize. We're doing our best here.
Okay.
Clearly, English is my only language. But these highlights were great, by the way. Did you say the final score already?
Yes, 44-32.
Yes, these were probably the highlights of the week. Lots of big plays, a bunch of fantastic catches. My only criticism of these highlights, and I don't know if they're done by like an AI thing that just puts all these together. I saw somebody mention that in one of the comments, and I was like, ooh, I guess that wouldn't surprise me. But they do keep them so tight. Everything is 7 minutes for these highlights. But some of the games, and especially this one, as good as these highlights are, they don't tell you the final score of the game when it's done. It doesn't get to the end and be like, and that's the final, whatever to whatever, and then the video ends. Some of them don't do that. One of them did do that, but some of them just don't do it. And I don't know. If you were watching it on a whim, you're like, wait, what was the final score? Was that last touchdown I saw it, or was there a different score at the end? So
who corrected us on that?
Oh boy, I have to go to my.
I didn't see that in the comments, but you
if you give me 2 seconds, I will jump through our comments on our YouTube channel and give them a proper. Here we go. It was John B. Jenkins who commented on our page last week, about 5 days ago. He says the Wrocław, because he spells it Vra-Shlov. It might be slight differently, like Wrocław,
okay.
Wrocław or something like that. Again, apologies, but John, we thank you for at least pointing that out.
Sure.
He also said another fun fact: Wrocław Vrslov is the sister city to Charlotte, North Carolina, where obviously the Carolina Panthers play. He believes their resemblance to the Panthers is intentional based on the two towns' relationships, but he has no evidence of that. Just a fun little fact, and we appreciate you, John, for throwing that out there.
See, that's the kind of stuff we need. We need
Yeah.
people to help us out. We
Thanks,
don't know
John.
everything, but we'd love to learn, and we want to do things
Heck
right.
yeah.
We don't want to insult Panther fans by pronouncing their team
and
name wrong.
And we're not trying to be like, we're not I won't say we're not experts, but it's like we know enough to a point, but we're always here to learn more.
Right.
Because we're not also here to just tell you about games. We're here to learn about games and learn about teams and stuff that, from all over the world of football. That's kind of the point.
Yep.
So we appreciate it, John.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, John. Let's see. Going on with the rest of the scores, the Madrid Bravos defeated the Barcelona Dragons 42-12, and this was the first game of the season for Madrid.
I believe it was their first game ever. I think they might be a brand new team. They might be, from what they said in the broadcast. So I made that a note. It's also the first loss of the season for Barcelona. Okay. But there was a heck of a punt return for a touchdown by Madrid in this game. It was fumbled by their own returner, scooped up by a teammate, and that guy brought it to the house. It was an awesome replay. If you get a chance, go check it out. The Bravos looked like they had a pretty good team there for being a startup team, if everything I heard was correct. The only confusing thing is their helmets are like the Vikings, but it's got the bull horns facing the front. So you got two teams in this league with horns on their helmets.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to talk about that other team right now. The Vienna Vikings defeated the Triol Raiders from Austria 27-6.
The Raiders Trio. They're the one team I think that consistently the nickname is before the town or whatever. I don't know why that is. Somebody else correct us.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing it the American way. I'm putting the city first and then the team.
Typical American, doing it his way.
I know that in other languages, certain words come before other words, and I get that, but this is America. We speak American here.
Whoa. So we don't speak American here. We speak English, sir.
I speak American. I can only speak for myself.
You speak nonsense.
I'm speaking American, so I'm going to put this.
Ignorance is what you speak.
Let's see. The last game on Saturday, the Munich Ravens over my Milano Seamen, 47-7. Supposedly, you sent me a thing saying that the Seamen have parted ways with their offensive coordinator, Malik Hoskins, because in 2 games, they've only scored 7 points. They were shut out the first week and only 7 points this week. So I think they need some more offensive help there.
Yep. And that's not where the Seaman news ends. That's right. I also said
Seaman news.
More Seaman news. We need probably a sound effect for that now. In Seaman news this week, Randy, the team put out a scam warning. This was a little bit ago. Supposedly, and this is per the Milano Seaman X account, there is a scammer writing to U.S. players offering fake contracts and asking for money. He is using a fake mail by our head coach, Jim Ward, or writing from a profile as head coach, Michael Vaught, that has no relation with us. No one is authorized to offer contracts to players without our general manager or president, and they use an official seaman.it email. If you have any doubt, write to info@seaman.it. We never ask money to any player. Please report to the authorities if you are contacted. So just very interesting there. So that's the off the field stuff. But I also want to get back to on the field to talk about your Seamen. They were off the draw real quick. They came into the end zone first. They had the lead 7-0, but it was all Munich after that. The Ravens quarterback, Chad Jeffries, was just slinging it. If you watch these highlights, he is just throwing the ball in such tight windows. His receivers are just snagging it in like the tightest of spaces. And it was just really impressive to watch him do his thing. And it was funny because there's also some plays where, they always do like those run pass options. There's a couple of plays where the cameraman got fooled. And I love those. It's just like you're following, you're looking for the football, and then all of a sudden the play's at the top of the screen instead of the bottom of the screen. And you're just like thrown off. It was pretty good.
If they're playing so well, why are they losing and not scoring? They're moving the ball, but they're not getting into the end zone.
Who?
The Seamen?
No, I was talking about Ravens quarterback.
Oh, the Ravens. I thought you were talking about the Seamen quarterback.
No, the Seamen have been very disappointing. They just, like I said, they got there early and they couldn't do anything after it. A little premature touchdown elation there.
Man, you are just loving this, aren't you?
It's great. I'm loving our semen news that we do every week. Not as much as Randy loves semen, but we're having fun with this. But we can move
You're
on now.
having fun with
This is
this.
great.
I'm rolling my eyes over here. Let's move
What
on.
other scores we got?
Sunday scores: the Berlin Thunder over the Prague Lions, 48-17.
Okay, well, what? Let's see. Yep. So this game, here's my notes from this game. Lots of speedy players. There were so many guys that when they would catch the ball in space, it would be really hard for them to get caught. Like if they caught a big pass, they were just gone. There were just a bunch of fast guys in this game. It was awesome. And Berlin had they had a 95-yard interception return for a touchdown at one point. That was pretty cool. As well as the poor Prague Lions, like they were like back in their own end of the field. The quarterback dropped back, had the ball knocked out, and a lineman pretty much recovered the fumble and literally rolled into the end zone for a touchdown for Berlin. So some other fun highlights. I'm telling you, you guys get 7 minutes to spare. Just pick any of these games. You're going to find some really good stuff.
All right, another game on Sunday: the Paris Musketeers over the Hamburg Sea Devils, 41-14. This was the first game of the season for Paris, as they were on a bye last week.
Yes. And in this game, we're going to talk about wide receiver Austin Mitchell. He earned the ELF's MVP of the week. Do you know why? Because he racked up 152 receiving yards and caught 4 touchdowns in this game. They even put up a standalone video of all his catches. It's about a 2-minute video. Go to their YouTube channel, the ELF's channel, and you can see all his catches. They are incredible.
So he pulled a Bundy, huh?
I almost was going to say,
4 touchdowns.
I was almost going to give him our brand new award, the Al Bundy Award, for scoring 4 touchdowns in one game.
Absolutely.
And it was his first ever game in the ELF as well. So kudos to him. Shout out to you, Austin Mitchell. Well deserved. Because I was watching this game, I was like, was that the same guy who caught those other touchdowns? And then you see him doing the thing after he scored his 3rd touchdown. He goes 1, 2, 3. Then he gets the 4th one, and I'm just like, dang, I'm having so much fun watching these highlights. Like, I'm not even kidding.
All right, another Sunday game: the Cologne Centurions over the Fehérvár Enthroners from Hungary, 35-10.
This was probably the most defensive highlight package you're going to see. It was just like sacks and tackles, and it was like, then you get a couple offensive, positive plays. But of all the highlights I've watched this league do the last couple of weeks, and even any league, I felt like this was very defensive highlight heavy. But Cologne pretty much controlled this game. There was even a blocked point after attempt return for 2 points for Fehérvár. So that was a pretty fun highlight to see too. So there's always something in all these packages to check out. It might look like a blowout score, but even then, you're getting some great plays in these games. So I recommend it. Yeah. I can't do that enough.
And the last game of the weekend, the Rhine Fire over the Frankfurt Galaxy, 31-20.
Yeah, my Frankfurt Galaxy.
And again, this was the first game for Frankfurt as they were on a bye in week 1.
But yeah, they were wearing some weird military-looking uniforms. It was hard to tell if that's their permanent uniform, but they were doing some sort of military appreciation.
It could have been a salute to the military.
Could have been. But this is a closer game than I think that score entailed. A lot of trick plays in this game. At one point, Frankfurt scored a touchdown by running the Philly special. It was awesome. There was so many great, there were reverses, flea flickers. It had almost everything in it. Go check that one out too. But yeah, unfortunately, my Frankfurt Galaxy couldn't defeat the defending ELF champs.
And on bye this week, one team out of Team 17 was on bye. The Helvetic Mercenaries from Switzerland had a bye. All right, we'll do the standings in a couple weeks after they get some more games under their belt, and so let's just.
So far, I'm having fun catching this league. I know you haven't had time to watch a lot of highlights.
No, I have not, but
it
sounds like you're excited.
I am
about
telling
this.
you to go check some of this out.
I saw one of the highlight packages last week because you told me, go watch these highlights, and it was pretty good.
Yeah,
the presentation looks very professional. The stadiums, the field looks great. The uniforms look great. And
I will say, having watched all of them actually this week, there are some hit and miss broadcast stuff. Some of it just sounds like somebody's recording from an offsite location, and it sounds like they're in a tin can. Some of the graphics sometimes don't show up in some of the highlights. I don't know if just during that broadcast it just didn't work or what, because they obviously live stream those games, I think. So, for the most part, I'm very, very high on this league right now. I'm very interested to keep following.
Okay. All right, let's talk some NFL. Let's see. The news came out this week that the Chicago Bears will be featured on season 19 of HBO's Hard Knocks. I could care less.
There were a lot of. I work with a lot of Bears fans at work, and a lot of them were confused because they were saying, well, aren't the Giants on Hard Knocks? Didn't they just announce that? And we talked about it last week.
Right.
That's the off-season,
Right.
like behind-the-scenes Hard Knocks. This is the traditional training camp Hard Knocks. We'll have the Chicago Bears. I don't say I'm not excited. I've been liking Hard Knocks. This Bears team, I have a lot of curious things about this team, like their head coach and all that. That's kind of where I'm waiting to look for. And obviously, everybody's going to be watching for the number 1 overall pick,
Right.
Caleb Williams.
Right.
So we'll see.
And we don't know who's going to be on the in-season Hard Knocks yet.
Oh,
So you got
God.
3 different Hard Knocks, off-season, preseason, and in-season. A little bit too much Hard Knocks for me.
I don't know if they just need to keep making them good. The in-season has not worked for me yet.
No.
I hope this off-season does. It's got some promise.
Yeah, I'll check it out because
But-
it is different.
But we've been
angle they
since
take.
we've become avid watchers of the preseason Hard Knocks. We've been entertained. There's been some seasons that have been better than others.
We've been talking about it on the podcast. Every episode, we'll talk about it every week.
Because last year's New York Jets wasn't.
Yeah.
That was probably my least favorite of everything the last several years.
Yeah.
So even the Cowboys was a little more entertaining than that, but they were also not great. So
The only thing about the Cowboys one was that drone,
The drone
where
shot,
they
yeah.
went through the whole facility.
There was-
God, that was awesome.
the takeaway from that one for me will always be there was the drone shot, but then there was the employee that had been there for like 20 or 30 years, and then was it his son got hired into or something like that? It was like,
I don't remember, but I do remember the old guy that'd been
Yeah.
working behind
They-
the scenes with the team.
yeah, that was my other favorite story about
Yeah.
that. They had like some secret poker game or something. It's been a
Mm.
while.
Okay. All right. Let's see. The Miami Dolphins wide receiver Jalen Waddle signs a 3-year, $84.75 million contract extension with $76 million
I was gonna say,
guaranteed. Houston Texans wide receiver Nico Collins signs a 3-year contract extension worth $75 million with $52 million guaranteed. And then the next 2 are really big. The Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson signed a 4-year, $140 million contract extension with $110 million guaranteed. And I guess that's $35 million a year is what he's going to be
and that makes him the highest non-quarterback
Right.
paid in the league. So
Right.
absolutely, we figured. I told you probably on this podcast when Amon-Ra got paid that Jefferson's next.
Yeah.
And he's going to be asking for a lot more. And we thought the Amon-Ra deal was big.
Right.
Like we knew Jefferson's was going to be a little bigger.
Yeah. I don't know. The way he was holding out, I thought maybe they might let him get away.
There were
but
rumors that they were going to trade him during draft time, but I don't know how legit that
who knows
was.
what happened behind the scene? How close was he to getting traded or whatever? But
Yeah.
now they've forked over the money, and I guess everybody's happy with that one. And then the other big one was 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey signed a 2-year extension worth $19 million per year, receiving an additional $24 million in guaranteed money.
Yeah, so that might not sound as lucrative as some of these other contracts,
Right.
but the big deal here is it's the position. It's resetting the market value for running backs,
Right.
which has been something a lot of players have been complaining about, the undervaluedness of the running back. And here we are, McCaffrey making 19 mil a season is crazy, but then he's got all these bonuses and stuff. So I don't know. There's some other stuff worded into the contract, like he's also making another $8 million more than he was, and I don't know. It was worded really weird, so I wasn't completely sure how to relay that. But that information's out there. But McCaffrey deserves it. He's
Sure.
the best running back in the league.
Sure.
So good for him.
Okay. And finally, the Buffalo Bills signed Olympic gold medal wrestler Gable Stevenson to a standard undrafted rookie free agent contract. Stevenson is 24 years old, and he's listed on the roster as a defensive lineman. He won gold as a super heavyweight at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021. He went on to win 2 college national championships or national titles at the University of Minnesota in 2021 and 2022. The Bills opened a roster spot to add Stevenson by releasing Matt Hack, H-A-A-C-K.
I would say Hawk.
Would you say Hawk? Okay. Matt Hawk, one of the 3 punters they had on their roster.
Jeez.
So this reminded me of Lou Ferrigno the bodybuilder,
Yeah.
signed with the Toronto Argonauts years ago and was there in the preseason and didn't make the team. But he tried out for. I mean, he's not a wrestler, but he was a bodybuilder. So you got to. It just seems somewhat similar to me that. I don't know. From what I was reading, I don't know if this Gable Stevenson has ever played football at any level. And it never said he played it in high school or he tried out for his college team or whatever. But he's known as a wrestler, and I think it even said he had some sort of a NIL deal with WWE. So maybe they were like grooming him to be a wrestler, which I mean that makes sense because there have been several wrestlers, like college wrestlers that have gone on to the WWE and had success there. But it just surprised me that
Very interesting.
they never mentioned any football background for this
Right.
guy.
So I don't know if it's just a PR stunt or what, if it's legit.
No.
I guess time will tell.
But it's a 3-year contract, and of course, if he doesn't make the team, they
it's-
really don't know.
Yeah,
what
that's
names.
why I'm
They're
wondering.
not really out anything, but evidently they think he's a work in progress. That maybe he's got some skills that they can take advantage of.
Maybe.
Okay. Let's see. CFL. The regular season begins in just 2 days on Thursday night. Boy, am I looking forward to that.
Heck yeah.
Montreal at Winnipeg. And I threw this out there during the last podcast, and then we got a message from somebody talking about it because I was asking where are these games going to be available in the U.S. I hadn't looked it up yet. I looked it up, and I also got some information from a guy. I forget who that was that sent that to us.
Do I need to look that up?
If you want to, we can.
I'll look it up while you're talking.
But he basically confirmed what I saw on their website. The games will be available in the U.S. on CBS Sportsnet, and CFL Plus, and also Sirius XM Radio on the Canada Talk channel 167. I listened to that channel after the Grey Cup last year because I watched the Grey Cup with you, I think, and I was driving home. There we were listening. I was listening to the post game on the radio on my Sirius XM in the car. So yeah.
Yep. So shout out to our follower on YouTube, David Boussois. Boussois. I'm not sure how you pronounce your last name, David, but thank you, David. He said the CFL will broadcast on CBS Sportsnet mainly on Saturday and Sunday during the summer months when the NFL isn't on. Then it will televise games on Fridays and some on Monday, Labor Day. The games that aren't televised on CBS Sportsnet, you can catch the rest on CFL Plus, including the playoffs and the Grey Cup. So I believe that's how we watched it last year was on CFL Plus.
CFL Plus. Basically, you sign in one time, and then the rest of the
Doesn't
season
cost you anything.
One season it recognizes you or it knows you by your IP address or whatever, and it lets you write in to watch whatever.
And if I remember correctly, we had a good stream with the Grey Cup.
It was pretty decent. It was a little tricky getting in at first, trying to get.
But once we were in, I mean,
once we were in, it was good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So recommend it to you Americans or anybody living overseas. If you're hankering for some Canadian football, do the CFL Plus thing. We can't recommend that enough.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor of the show. We want more eyeballs on the CFL. That's why, we love talking CFL. We're going to start trying to do next week. We're not sure what day we're going to fit this in, but a CFL weekly show or Canadian Football League weekly I'm thinking we're going to call it. And you even looked up a French pronunciation for the world of football?
I forget. La Mondo du Football.
Oh, that sounds about right. Did you text me that?
I did. I texted you that after I put in Google Translator, the world of football, and it came back with La Mondo du Football. And you said, where did you get that? Because I was texting with you.
Yeah.
He said, where'd you get that translation? I said, well, I got it from Google. And he said, you said you better confirm that with a real Canadian.
Yeah.
Because don't want to make a mistake. And so I did. I texted Tim Capper and I said, is this correct? And he said, yes, that is correct.
Le Monde de Football.
Is it Mundo or Munde?
Munde.
Okay, Monde.
Yep. Le Monde de Football.
The football. Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, Tim confirmed it, so I said thank you, real Canadian, for your assistance.
Really?
You said you wanted a real Canadian to tell you what the French pronunciation was.
I did.
Okay. And lastly, in the CFL, was announced the other day that the Jonas Brothers will be performing at halftime of the Grey Cup this year.
Now, where's Robin Sparkles when I need her to perform the CFL halftime?
It's the CFL halftime show we're all looking for.
Man. We need Weird Al to do the Super Bowl,
Uh-huh.
and I need Robin Sparkles to do an actual CFL Grey Cup.
I didn't know the Jonas Brothers were Canadian, but obviously they are because
Yeah.
they wouldn't be doing the halftime show in the CFL if they weren't
I guess I didn't
Canadian.
realize that either, but hey,
Yeah.
that's a good get.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So we'll be there to see that. So you're gonna wear your
Oh
Jonas.
that's right.
You're gonna wear your Jonas
Oh my
Brothers
God, I get to
T-shirt
see the Jonas Brothers in person.
to the Grey Cup
That's
game.
my takeaway from that. I won't pick a team. I'll just wear a Jonas Brothers shirt to the game.
There you go.
I came to the Grey Cup to watch the Jonas Brothers,
That's
and
right.
that's it.
I went to a Jonas Brothers concert and a football game broke out.
I had to sit through a football game before my Jonas Brothers concert,
Yeah.
and then I had to sit through a football game after my Jonas Brothers concert.
Oh, you poor thing. Okay, moving to college football. Snoop Dogg's Arizona Bowl, we talked about this last week, is going to be the first bowl game to offer name, image, and likeness name, image, and likeness money to the players on the teams
Interesting.
involved. In
I'm
that
sure
game.
that's going to be a domino effect there too.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yep. I don't know why nobody's done that before.
Well, I wonder how that works. Is it
NIL's
just
been around for a while.
true? But I'm wondering how that works. Does that lure? Do the players vote? It's not like the players vote on what bowl they're going to. That's the
Yeah, the schools and
so is the
and
school saying, "Hey
NCAA.
guys, you have a couple options," or the school go, "Well, the guys will make more money going to that bowl." Like,
Right.
I don't know what the factor will be.
I don't know. You got players now that won't play in a bowl game because they don't want to get hurt to be
That's
drafted.
true.
So I don't know. I'm just reporting it because I think it's interesting, but we'll have to see if other
And does that mean
bowls
like
will
if
do
you're
that.
if your team goes to that game and like say you're one of those guys like, oh, I'm going to sit out, do you not get paid? Does everybody on the roster get paid no matter what? Like that's so many questions.
Well, yeah, because if they're going to start paying players, well, that doesn't start until next year,
That's the
2025.
schools doing
Right,
it.
the
But
schools
but the
paying for
NIL
it.
deal,
I'm assuming that the players will be paid for the bowl games also.
I don't know. This
Man,
so much out there.
So much we don't know yet, and we're learning it just like everybody else is.
I wonder how that's going to work in the video game now. Like, can I just take more money? Like, going from college to college?
All right, let's move on. Today's birthdays: June 4th, halfback, wide receiver, and punter all in one. Pat Studstill, born on this date in 1938, died in 2021 at the age of 83. He played his college football at the University of Houston, and he signed with the Detroit Lions in 1961. He played for the team through 1967. He missed the 1963 season with a knee injury. He also played for the Los Angeles Rams from 68 to 71, and he finished his playing career with the New England Patriots in 1972. The other birthday today is that of Mike Barber. He turned 70 years old today, played his college football at Louisiana Tech, was selected in the second round of the 1976 NFL draft by the Houston Oilers. He played for the Oilers from 76 to 81, then he played for the LA Rams from 82 to 85, and he finished his playing career with the Denver Broncos after he was traded to Denver during the 85 season. So in 85 he played for the Rams and the Denver Broncos, yes, in one season. All right, we do have a couple of obituaries today. This is where we take a moment and honor those who've made the world of football a better place. The first one is Larry Allen, a guard and tackle in the NFL for 14 seasons, has passed away suddenly at the age of 52 while on vacation in Mexico with his family. The cause of death was not immediately released. This sounds pretty ominous. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it just kind of popped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang.
Yeah, 52 is awfully young. I mean,
And to be on vacation with your family,
Yeah.
Something
happened down there in Mexico. We probably won't know for a while exactly what happened. Allen played college football at Division II Sonoma State and was selected in the second round of the 1994 NFL draft by the Dallas Cowboys. He played in Dallas from 1994 to 2005 and won Super Bowl 30 as a member of the team. He finished his playing career with the San Francisco 49ers in 2006 and 2007. Allen was inducted into the Sonoma State University Athletics Hall of Fame in 2001 and the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2013. I think he's the only player from Sonoma State to ever make it to the NFL.
Interesting. All right, and our final obituary this week is that of Curtis Chip Kell, a center in the Canadian Football League for 2 seasons, has passed away at the age of 75. Kell played college football at Tennessee and was selected in the 17th round of the 1971 NFL draft by the San Diego Chargers. However, he chose to sign with the CFL's Edmonton Eskimos, where he played in 1971 and 1972. Kell was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2006.
Yeah, people don't realize that there was a time when people were drafted into the NFL, but they chose to go up to Canada because they could make more money up in Canada. The NFL was giving them these, weak contracts because you were a 14th round selection or whatever. This guy was a 17th round selection. So they would run up to Canada and make more money up there.
Yeah.
Sometimes they came back to the States, sometimes they stayed up in Canada. But yeah, it's just funny to think that Canada was a legitimate option at one time. This is back in the 70s.
It's still a legitimate option.
Right. I mean, you look at Warren Moon and a lot of other players that went up to Canada and got their start up there. But yeah, that's definitely not the case anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a time when that was somewhat common. All right. Finally today, the upcoming events calendar. This Thursday night, June 6th, the CFL regular season begins with Montreal at Winnipeg. I'm going to be checking that game out. And also this coming Saturday, La Liga de Fútbol Americano Profesional Mexico Bowl 7 championship game is going to be played. The Raptors versus the Warlords in that game, so we'll have that score next week. Saturday, June 22nd, the CFL's Toronto Argonauts take on the Edmonton Elks, and we will be there for that game. Hope we make it to the stadium this time without the big traffic jam that we had a couple of years ago. I don't think so, because that festival doesn't start until August, so
Yep.
we should be good this time. Tuesday, June 25th, our 350th episode of this podcast, dating back to 2017.
Man, something like that. It's been
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, it's been a lot of them. Sunday, June 30th, the Arena Football League regular season comes to an end. Friday, July 19th, EA Sports college football video game gets released. I know you're chomping at the bit for
Yep.
that. You're going to be
Gonna get it.
pitching a tent
No, I won't do
outside
that.
the Best Buy to go out and get it? Or?
Probably not. I'll probably just get the game shipped, so I don't know if I'll get it that day. Depends on their supply and demand. Or I might just have to buy the digital version on my Xbox. But thinking about putting together something about that game getting released for the channel. So
Okay.
when we get there, we'll figure it out.
Okay. Thursday, August 1st, the Pro Football Hall of Fame game in Canton, the Chicago Bears versus the Houston Texans. 2 days later, on Saturday, August 3rd, the 2024 enshrinement ceremonies will take place at Tom Benson Stadium next to the Hall of Fame. August 24th is the start of week 0 in the college football world. Thursday night, September 5th, the NFL regular season begins with the Ravens at the Chiefs, and the very next night, Friday, September 6th, the Eagles and Packers will square off against each other in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and this is going to be exclusively a streamed game.
Yep.
You told me that last week, and I did not write it down, so I don't know which streaming
I
service.
believe it's Amazon,
You're probably right.
but you can always double check it.
Yep, it's just going to be streamed. And then finally on our upcoming events calendar, Sunday, November 17th, the 111th Grey Cup game in the CFL will be played in Vancouver, and you and I are going to be there.
I'm going to change it in the notes for you to Jonas Brothers Concert.
/ CFL Grey Cup
Yeah.
in Vancouver at the BC Place Stadium. So yeah, a lot of things coming up.
It's always busy in the world of football.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, you and I've got a couple of CFL games. We get the Toronto game in a couple of weeks. We've got the Grey Cup at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. So we're going to have a game in June we're going to go to. Then it's July, August, September, October. Then we're going to wait 4 months, and then we're going to go to the championship game.
Yeah, yep. And then we're also talking about possibly going to an arena game. You and I.
We'll see. I don't know what their schedule looks
the
like.
Arena Bowl. Yeah, we'll have to see what it looks like. But I'd love to go to the Arena Bowl this year. I'm assuming it's going to be taking place.
Hey, if any teams or the league is listening, I mean, we'll take a
Albany.
couple of free tickets to come cover the game for you. Just saying. Or if you need a couple broadcasters, we'll do it too.
I'd be happy to pay for my tickets if they just paid us gas money to go there.
Man, if it was in like Billings, I'd fly to Billings if they flew us out there. Shoot.
That would be interesting. Yeah, but something we're definitely thinking about or talking about.
Yeah, we'll
So
see.
We'll see.
It's got a pin in it.
And then we've got possibly a Lions game out in Arizona.
Yeah, we gotta work the details out on that.
You're getting all this time off of work. I'm retired. I can go anywhere I want any day of the week. But
I'm running out of diseases to give them. I don't think they're gonna fall for the leprosy one again.
Well, that's it for the upcoming events calendar. Anything else before we call this a show?
We can wrap this puppy up.
Okay. That's all the time we've got for this week. If you learned something during this podcast about the incredible amount of diversity that exists in the world of football, then we have done our job. Visit our website at theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and more. Our email address is info@theworldoffootball.com.
You can follow the World of Football on Facebook, X, and Instagram, where the address for all three of those is TWOF Kalamazoo. New episodes of this podcast are posted on Tuesdays and are available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music, so you can simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football podcast to hear us on whatever Alexa devices you may have. You can also find the full audio version of this show on our YouTube page. That's where a lot of you have been commenting, and we appreciate that. Just enter the World of Football Kalamazoo or use the handle at the World of Football in the YouTube search bar. So please spread the word, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thumbs ups always help. We are literally sitting about less than 60 subscribers away from hitting our 1,000 subscriber goal. Tell a friend. We'd greatly appreciate getting there. It's been a lot of fun, and we appreciate all you who have found us and interacted with us. And we're just here to talk football and have fun. That's all we're about here. And maybe starting to make money if we hit those threshold goals. Maybe we can finally afford to pay for McDonald's on our road trips.
Yeah. Did we make it under an hour this week?
No.
Every week we want to
I'm not even done with my spiel yet.
We try and keep it under an hour, and
we're 10 minutes over. Yeah. So rate, review, give us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and please come be a part of the football conversation. We greatly appreciate it.
All right. And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than the two of us guys sitting here in Kalamazoo talking football. Until next time, when we'll try and do a better job. Yeah, right. I'm Rainy Snow.
And I'm going to guarantee you next week's show won't be under an hour either.
See you all next week.